Hey guys, it's Ashley. Just wanted to share with you some information around basically still about me because it's early days, so I just want you to know it all really. Okay, so a few random facts about myself. I love Mexican food. That would be number one. Number two, I've actually had a psychic awakening, so I'm able to hear, feel, and see things. It's still really new, so I'm just getting grips of that, but that's a very, very random fact. My favourite season, I'm going to say spring, when all the daffodils start coming out. Definitely, that would have to be my favourite season. A few more facts. I have got free nipples. Just joking. I'm trying to think. I don't know. There's not very much factual stuff in there. This sounds really bad. I'm so disappointed. I can't live without music. I hate doing the dishes. I hate doing the washing even more. Oh, that is probably one of the most frustrating ones. Three fears that I have. Okay, so I'm quite a fearless person, but I guess if I was going to say something, Australian spiders for sure. Shit, I mean, you're this big. Why do you need to be that big? No need. The ocean. I've had an experience where I actually got put into like a washing machine kind of tumble style, and that was terrifying. And you don't mess around with Mother Nature, that's for sure. Um, Spiders, how did that become a fear? To be honest with you, I was at my uncle's pub and I put my head up the chimney and I pulled my head out and it was full of tiny little spiders. And there was like tiny little bodies, like yellow bit. Yeah, no, that wasn't a very nice memory, that's for sure. Yeah, the sea because of that, and also just jaws and stuff like that. Like, no, you can keep your sharks to yourself, thank you. I don't want none of that. And then my third fear, I'm gonna say, since having children, it would be heights. Yeah, definitely heights. And I was never scared of heights before having children. However, since having them, oh, my legs go like jelly. Yeah, it makes me cringe. My relationship with my parents it was wonderful. Even now, yeah, we still talk as often as we can. However, I do try and keep that boundary in place because they are on the opposite side of the world, and it costs nearly $140,000 for their visa and everything to move over here. So I spent I'd say a good 8.5 years dwelling on the fact that we need to be together again because they need to have their grandkids. And they just came over at Christmas, and to be honest, they annoyed the shit out of me. So I was like, realization that it maybe I don't need them here so much. I just want them to be around their grandkids. That's all. But thank God for Facebook and stuff like that, I reckon. 10 things that I would tell my 16-year-old self. Don't bleach your hair. Gotta be number one. Two, bleach doesn't develop. It doesn't. Leaving it on for extra long is not going to make it go more bleacher. Like, yeah, nah. That shit came out like spaghetti, hey. That was like, do you know back in the day when you like half of your hair was dark and then half of it was underneath, as well as your fringe bit as well? Yeah, I was one of those girls. Impatient and eager, really. Um, second thing is the second thing I would tell myself is look after your body. During some of my most stressful times, I've had periods where I had no appetite, and it damaging to your body. Absolutely. And especially water as well. Stay hydrated because water is what makes the energy go round. I've only just learned that, but still, I'll tell myself that. The third thing, there's no way that I'm going to do 10 things. I'll do 5 things, right? The third thing that I'd tell myself is bad boys ain't no good. But good boys ain't no fun. So it's kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place on that one, aren't I? The fourth thing, the fourth thing I would tell myself would be I would introduce myself to Reiki healing earlier. So Reiki healing is palm healing of the chakras, and the chakras play a huge part in the energy inside of our body. And for myself, a lot of emotions around my past and my parents really did affect my heart chakra and my throat. And it's only just recently that I've been able to actually cleanse it and balance it after having a lot of heart pain, because if it's left for too long it can turn into a physical side. So I really had to pay attention to that. Been quite freaky actually. And then the last thing that I would tell my 16-year-old self, it would have to be, that's a really tough one, hey? What would I tell my 16-year-old self? You can't fix everybody. That is exactly what I would say. That would actually be try and be number one, I'd say. Yeah, definitely. It's not your job to fix people, Ashley. 16-year-old Ashley, don't do it. So 5 things that make me most happy right now: my children, my music, my cat because he looks so cute. Fourth, spirituality, having this awakening. I've got an unreal intuition now, as well as quite gifted in the psychic sense of things, although it can be freaking terrifying. I'm still blessed, still very blessed, and it makes me very happy. And the last thing that makes me most happy right this second, I've got a really nice cup of tea in the kitchen, and just thinking about that's making me really happy. I'm gonna have to go and get it, I think. Absolutely. What is the hardest thing you've ever experienced? The hardest thing I've ever experienced would be actually most recently, apart from going through a severe spiritual awakening where I found my purpose and I kind of got rid of my egotistic ways. It would be more so the fact that I did a lot more digging around and found out that about astrology. So I've been studying that, and I've been looking at my chart and then not knowing what I'm doing, freaking out because there's an X on there and it means I'm going to die. But that's one of those things, isn't it? Like, and unless you're confident and qualified to study those areas, it's not something that should be messed around with, that's for sure. Absolutely. What is my dream job and why? Do you know what? I've always had my dream job. Anything that I've gone for, I've always been able to get. My dream job, apart from being obviously an entrepreneur and an influencer, I'd say a police officer. Definitely going to say a copper, not just for the authority and being able to push good out there, but I really like the uniform as well. I think that's pretty good. So people who have influenced me and how, obviously my parents. They are so hardworking. They are probably the biggest influences in my life, and also an influence on relationships, really. They really did set the bar high. In my Australian family, I have the beautiful Bonnie, I have Wal, Lockie, Michaela, Nathan, Jess. They adopted me and my children here in Australia, and they are the most beautiful family I have ever met. and to have them in my life as role models for my children. I'm so blessed, so blessed. Another influential person, my best friend Ingrid. I met her here in Australia, and she's actually from Estonia, so we do have that common ground of being homesick. And she's having a baby now. She's gonna have a baby in like 2 months, so very exciting. Another influential person. Days, yeah, definitely. The gentleman, he was a best friend for a long time, and he taught me how to DJ, and he's very, very transparent, basically. Describe your most embarrassing moment. Went to Disneyland, right, and I stuck my head between the things, and then I couldn't get back out, so my mum had to get a big bottle of sun cream and put it all over my head and like lube my ears up and get me out in that kind of sense, which was a bit embarrassing, but I'm glad that I was only like pretty young, because can you imagine doing that at like 25 years old? I'd probably still put my head in there, but imagine getting it stuck, especially with the size of his head now. Massive. So what are 5 passions I have? I am passionate about spreading love, passionate about my music, passionate about helping people, passionate about learning, and passionate about, what's the last one? Spreading awareness, sharing experiences, and helping people. Yeah, trying to help people. 10 pet peeves I hate. Listen, there's not 10, but the first one, oh my god, my dad. When he chews really loud, and his teeth grind. It just makes me want to do that. And then he gets a knife and fork and he scrapes it. It's like, do you have to press so hard, Dad? Like, what's the go? And then another pet peeve. When my son's like, Mom, can I have your help? And then he sits back and lets me do it. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Doesn't work like that, darling. Pet peeve. With myself, things that I do, I can't focus. I'm really bad at focusing, especially because I've always got good creativity going on in my mind and stuff like this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no, it's not good. That's my pet peeve about myself. Absolutely. 5 weaknesses that I have. Oh, this is a hard one now since having this enlightenment. However, weaknesses. I care too much. Care and love too much. I struggle with boundaries sometimes. I can't help it. Everybody should be treated the same, but there's a lot of bad people that takes advantage of that, which is not good. Not gonna lie, I'm late quite often, but when you par that with the focus and then 2 children, like kind of like it goes hand in hand, really, don't it? Just fashionably late. Oh dear. 5 strengths that I have. My people skills and my hospitality, my insight into a lot of areas, and my drive and my passion and my enthusiasm to give absolutely anything a go. If I was an animal, what would I be and why? A horse. Why not? Someone can ride me all day. My 5 greatest accomplishments. So straight out of school, I became a lifeguard, and from that position I actually worked up the rank to be able to become a personal assistant. So that is probably my first accomplishment that I'm very happy with. My second one would be, my first one would have been my children, but yeah, second, my accomplishment was having 2 beautiful children, and 2 absolutely beautiful souled children. Third greatest accomplishment, being alive. Hey, like being in Australia for 10 years and experiencing so much being alone, like it really did affect me at times. So my accomplishment is that I'm still here in Australia. Well, another great accomplishment, starting my beauty business, I believe. Another great accomplishment. Oh, it's hard because there's so many. I would say greatest accomplishment, keeping in communication with people that need communication, really. I'm always there for people, always there, and I love it. I have no issue with it whatsoever. The thing that I wish I was most great at, focusing and organisation. If I weren't reading off my iPad right now, I'd be going like waffling and going this way, this way, this way, this. Yeah, nah. Yeah, see, it started again. The most difficult thing that I have had to forgive, narcissist. I had a year-long situationship with a narcissist, and being an empath, I was just like, what the hell is wrong with you? But I tried and I tried and tried and I tried and I tried, and although everything happens for a reason, yeah, nah, definitely not. That would be the most difficult thing that I've had to forgive myself, really. Yeah, definitely myself. If I could live anywhere, where would it be and why? Okay, if I could live anywhere, it would be back on Avalon Beach, or no, Newport Beach. Anywhere where there's a beach. Oh, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. If I could have one superpower, what would it be? That's a really tough one. I'm gonna say the ability to fly. Absolutely. The thought of being able to soar through the air and like Superman. I think that would be pretty sick. Yeah, definitely. What would I do with it first? I'd fly. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself with all 4 of my businesses linked together, running from a shop salon with a mobile DJing and disco business, and being a life coach with an adult sex shop online store. The possibilities are endless, okay? Creativity gone wild. In 10 years' time, I would like to be like a therapist.